Okay, we're late.
Okay, so good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone, wherever you're going to be watching this live from. Thank you for taking out your time to participate in this event. And today, as you can see from the topic, we are going to be talking about character over skills. And just to let you know, this is not trying to be biased on anything. This is just we having conversation around talking about skills and then character in the place of work. This has to do, it's not just tech, it has to do um, all area of careers in anywhere. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And with me, I have an amazing speakers who are going to be doing justice to this topic today. I have Frank. Frank is an amazing person who is an MVP, also an MCT from Ireland. Frank, thank you for joining this call. And also I have Teresa, our mama, which is she's an amazing person. So she has an amazing YouTube channel. A lot of things she does there. She's also an MVP. Thank you for joining this call. And I have Bill. Bill is an amazing person. The first time I met Bill was it was as if like I've known him for years. So he also based in the US. Who is going to be joining us in this conversation? Thank you, Bill, for being on this call today. And then I have Dan Ray. Dan Ray. Wow. Dan Ray is an amazing person. So I met Dan Ray for the first time in person in London with Bill, who he actually just he actually introduced me and said, okay, we have a LinkedIn tour. Do you have? Are you interested? And I said, why not? And I took a leave from work on that day, and I didn't regret going for that particular tour that day. It was very amazing. Dan is an amazing person. Is quite he's simple. Is an understanding person. When I read his profile saying he has been at MCT for 20 years, I was like, wow. I'm just starting this journey of MCT, and you have been there for 20 years. I know this is a whole lot of journey. So he's going to be sharing a lot of things with us today. Thank you very much, Dan, for being on this call. And today I also have an amazing co-moderator. Her name is Precious. Precious is an amazing person. She has a TikTok page, and she's also a tech person also. And Solomon is is the mentor behind the tech experience for no pressure. So she's going to be moderating this event with me this afternoon. And also, I do have Solomon Jeremiah. Solomon Jeremiah is an amazing person. I've known him. We've known each other for years, and we've been in tech for years. And he's an amazing person. He's an MVP, and also is an MCT. I think now he said he just want to relax for an MVP, but whether you like it or not, he's still an MVP. And MVP is forever an MVP. So he's an amazing person. He has an amazing platform where he has been grooming a lot of people in the tech space, and he has been doing from zero experience. We've seen people, going into tech without any experience, and today they are working in tech, and they can troubleshoot, they can do a whole lot of things. Thank you very much, Jerry. Thank you for joining this call. You're also based in the United Kingdom. And also I do have my amazing my mentor and my teacher, it's Fred. Fred is an amazing person. The first time I know I wanted to be an MCT, you needed to be you need to have the skill provider stuff. So when I checked on the on Microsoft's website, and the people that so he was the company. I didn't even know. So I just messaged me. I said, "Oh, this, that," and he gave me the whole thing. And today I'm an MCT through the help of Fred. Thank you very much for joining this call. And also, I do have my amazing friend and brother, which is Kingsley. I'm tempted not to mention Pastor Kingsley because he's a pastor also. So Kingsley is an amazing fellow. In fact, Kingsley is a mentor to my wife in the field because my wife is an HR, and anytime she's stuck on anywhere, she's the only person she runs to, because Kingsley is the head of our HR in a financial institution. I mean, financial institution back there in Nigeria. He also has some connection in the UK too, but that one's for another time. All right, so Kingsley, thank you very much for joining this call. And also, I do have another person there, which is Benga. Wow. Benga, in fact, the way I met Benga was just coincidental, and I know that our connection was not just ordinary; it was divine. And Benga is an amazing person. I've seen what he does. I've seen his channel. I've seen his LinkedIn profile. He's an amazing person, and he's a data analysis. So he's going to be uh, part of the speaker today. And thank you, Benga, for joining this call. It's also based in the UK. It's also based here in the UK. So without further ado, I believe everyone has been introduced. And yes, my name is 𝗢𝗵𝗿𝗶𝗹𝗶. Also, I'm an IT person. I'm an IT infrastructure engineer. And recently, I just got my MCT. Yeah, and I know it has. Yeah, thank you very much. I know when I got the MCT, I know Teresa message. She was like, "Wow, I'm impressed. You used to be the shy type, but now, yeah." So I was like, "Wow." I
Exactly.
said, "Yes, yeah, true. Yeah, that's true." And also, if and one of the person that motivated me was my friend, which is Jerry. He motivated me a lot because he does. When you see somebody doing a lot of things, giving back to the community without even charging a dime, that it's something that is worth of appreciating. So thank you very much, Jeremiah, for what you are doing in the community. Thank you for you're my friend, you're my mentor. Like I said, he's my mentor, he's my friend, he's everything's my colleague. So yeah, so thank you everyone for being on this call this great afternoon, and thank you for taking out your time for joining us. Like I said, today we're only going to be talking about character over skills, and this conversation is just for us to, because like I said, the reason why, okay, first of all, why this topic, character over skills, why this topic. Now, this topic is something that is quite very, very important, like I said earlier on, even in every career space, wherever you are, because these are things that can actually destroy an organization if someone has something we call character deformation. I've seen where people lose a job because of character. I've seen where somebody have lost, like I was speaking to Precious, I was in a call with Precious earlier on. I was telling her, I said, a friend of mine who happens to be working in the cybersecurity space. So they had to do an interview for someone. And right at that interview, he was surprised that after the whole interview, and the manager said that this particular person, we cannot employ this person. The reason being because his character is not right from interview. Because some people, they have this psychology being, so they can know you from your voice how you are going to be. So, and they said, no, I don't think we can employ this person. And they had another person that they interviewed, and lo and behold, that particular person, from the question they were asking this person at the interview, he was not there. So you know that this person does not have it. But the way he was comporting himself and the way he was talking and things like that, he said this person looks like somebody who is teachable and who I can work with. And the manager said I would prefer to employ this person, and I would train him, and he would be a better fit. And that was how this other person got the job and the other person did not get the job. And I could also remember when I started, when I was working, one of my managers said that, we're just having a discussion. He said that he preferred somebody with character, that skills is nothing to him, that because he's ready to train that person, because he can train the person. But he says somebody without character will be very difficult, because character is not something you can instill in somebody. Once they are, that is whom they are. Even if they decide to change, if care is not taken, they will still you still find them back into that character. And which, at the long of this course, uh, I'm going to like show a particular slide, the picture I saw online. I believe most of us have seen it by the time I show it, which actually talk about it. When I don't know, maybe probably it's true, or maybe it's just normal posting stuff, talked about a guy who locked out everybody from, locked out the admin, locked out everybody, and then nobody can gain access to the tenant again and do anything. And that actually put the company into a whole lot of chaos. So these are things we are really talking about. So that is why we want to really talk about things, so that when you are getting that skills, you also put it at the back of your mind that your character also is very, very important. If I am somebody that doesn't have character, I don't think everybody on this call will answer me when I message them. I say, okay, please, uh can you join me in this particular conversation? I believe I've met Dan for the first time in United Kingdom, and like I said, the way we are having conversation was like we've met each other for years, whereas we've been having conversation online. So you can see that character is very, very important in whatsoever you are doing. Okay. So like I said, this is a conversation we are going to be having, and I will just really be asking questions, and I will just want people to just like, so when I call, you can actually go ahead and also like introduce yourself, yeah, if you want to, which is actually fine, so the people can know whom you are and things are like that. So um first of all, let me just give the floor to my moderator, which is Precious. So Precious, can you go ahead and just introduce the first speakers?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Welcome, everyone. My name is Precious 𝗦𝗸𝗶𝗹𝗏. I'm, I'm new in the field. I'm one of the persons Mr. Jeremiah Solomon is training. So I'm quite new in the field and I'm aspiring to be a cloud security engineer. This program is actually important for persons like me who wants to grow and develop properly in the field. So in today's event, titled Character Over Skills, I'm going to direct my question to my mentor, Jeremiah Francis Solomon, what he has to say about the topic that we have on board today.
Hi, Precious. Thank you for and also Opeyemi, thank you for the warm welcome. I know it's been a while. You guys have seen me on LinkedIn. I've just been, chasing life, and life has been chasing me. But it's still nice to, see everyone here again. Today I know we have a lot of things to say about character. We have personal life experience that we're going to talk about. But then why Opeyemi told me, oh, you should come speak in this event or join this event, I already prepared the slide. And he was like, oh, don't worry, you can go ahead with your slide. And after the slide, we can, have conversations around what you're going to be presenting. So I have a slide and I'm going to make it like very fast. I would present my slide and I'll be talking about why character matters more than skills. But then trust me, I want you to go through this slide because there still needs to be a balance, right? Even if we know character matters, we are still looking at how we can find that balance. I'm going to share my screen now so you can see my slide, and trust me, I'll be very fast. Let me share my screen.
Oswald had a great question. Who won the?
You said?
Who won life, or who won the race?
Which race?
Between you and life.
It's a question. It's a question on the comments section. The Oswald, he says, "Who won the race? Your life,
Between me
you
and
or
life.
life?" Yeah.
Okay. I'm alive. That means I'm still winning the race. Yeah. So thank you for that question. Yeah. So today I would be talking about why character matters more than skills. But then let's just go through and see what I have to say. So these are going to be the agendas of what I'm going to be covering. These are the overviews. We'll be looking at the importance of character over skills. We'll be defining skills and characters. We'll be seeing why character matters more than skills. We'll also be looking at the consequences of prioritizing skill over character. Then we'll be looking at building character. Then we'll also be looking at, combining skills and character. Now, what is the investment we need to put in after hearing all of this and the key takeaways from everything that I have to present today? So the next slide, we will be talking about the importance of character over skill. Now, I know most people, they might have heard the terms that say skill may open the door for you, but what's going to keep you in there is character. You might, one way or the other, pass the technical interviews, do the tasks that they want you to do, but when you get in there, what is going to keep you in that company is actually the character that you possess. Now, if you look at my slide, I spoke about how skill can open opportunities to you. You can have the skill sets, you might be good at what you do, and then people would probably, because of the age we are in, right? Everything we are seeing, innovation, AI, people want people that can just build stuff for them. But what's the idea behind what you're building, the purpose? How is your skill, your goal, how you're driving your technical skill that you might feel you have the technical skill? How long do you want to keep on with what you're doing and the people you'll be dealing with? The skill can give you the opportunity, but then it is character that will actually sustain success. So when we are talking about character, we are looking at relationship. Character is also what builds relationship with people. The value you're bringing, the respect that you're bringing to the team. That's where we are looking at character. Now we are also looking at the lasting impact of character, right? Character itself is the cornerstone for impact you create in your work environment. You can be very skilled at something, but beyond being skilled, what is that lasting impact you can actually leave behind? It is actually character. Now, I would go to the next slide. I promise to be fast. So, why is character critical for professional and personal success? Now, the first bullet point is talking about character over skills, right? I'm still kind of, talking about character, but there's a part where we are going to balance everything. Character forms the foundation of lasting success beyond technical skills, both in personal and professional life. Now, I know most people might also look at character. We are talking about skills. We are talking about character. Beyond the professional life we have, beyond going to the office, we have friends, we have relations, we have families we deal with. And when it comes to how you deal with your friends, family, how even some of your family members accept you, like you have, distant cousins, you go see them, how they treat you sometimes depend on the type of character you possess. So beyond the professional skill, we are still looking at character in our personal life. Then the impact of relationships. I already spoke about having family members, relations, distant cousins, and all of that. Character can actually be what would impact the relationship we have with those people, even our colleague at work. It is character that will determine how we can, communicate, deal with them, and even work together as a team. Then when we're looking at long-term success, right? Character drives perseverance and ethical behaviors leading to sustainable success over time. So if we are looking at long-term success, we are doing anything, we are trying to see the long-term of how that stuff we are doing is going to last, then we are thinking of, building the right character. Now, we know how the world is today. People are looking at, they are looking at, certifications, the frameworks we are using, automations, what we are deploying. We are looking at all of those stuffs. But beyond all of these that we are looking, beyond the certifications, I have the skill set, I passed the certifications, beyond, I know how to write these scripts, what is actually the thing that we need? Now, there's what we call the human qualities that are needed beyond all of these. Now, we are looking at integrity. We are looking at someone that is resilient. We are looking at empathy. Now, I tell people most times, you might be working in an organization. We have two people. Two of them are very skilled, right? But one is probably skilled and has, the character. He has built his character. Now, if I give an example, we know that when we are working for someone, we have a particular time we should be working. We are probably looking at resuming, closing by 5, and then that's the hours we are paid for. Now, something might just happen just about when you want to leave. You're looking at the office, something is going down. You could choose to actually leave because you know your time is actually ending by then. And I know most people, you would hear most people saying, you don't have to kill yourself for an organization. I don't doubt those communication. But sometimes I've been in situation where something is happening at a very critical moment. I know at that moment, I'm not even supposed to be, play any role in that particular incident. But I know that somehow, if I'm not involved, that issue is going to escalate. Now, at that point in time, there are a few questions you'll be asking yourself. You'll be telling yourself, nobody is going to pay me for overtime. I need to probably go and rest and all of that. But then when character comes in, you start seeing empathy coming into that situation. Now, when empathy is coming in, you start asking yourself questions. What if this company is mine and this is about to happen? How would I manage the impact? What if it is my father that has this company and this that is happening right now is going to affect my dad's business? When you start looking at those stuffs, you start putting yourself in place of the owner of the company. You start seeing yourself as the founder of the company. At that moment, it is not your skill set that is making you spend that extra hours that you want to spend at work. It is empathy that is coming in. So at that point in time, you see yourself, going that extra mile, doing what you have to do. Your skill set at that moment can come into play. You can use your skill set to resolve the issue. But before you even started thinking of using your skill set to resolve the issue at hand, it was empathy that actually acted. And it is that empathy that is actually making you to, give yourself that extra time to say, okay, let me just resolve this issue. Now I'm going to, look at skills, and then we'll try to define, we'll also try to define character. Now, when we're talking about skill, we're looking at ability. We are looking at someone, performing a task, someone that is competent, someone that is efficient, somebody that is, that have developed practice, that has trained, that is experienced. We are looking at someone, right? Skill, what skills does is that it enables you to execute a task. It can be negotiation. You have a deal, you're able to negotiate the deal, you're able to fix a machine, you're even able to lead a workshop. That's skill. We are looking at skill. Now, my bullet point here is talking about skill are practical ability and technical knowledge essential for task completion and problem solving. You're able to complete tasks and then you can solve problem. Skill development. Skill improves through practice, training. You could train someone and then the person gain a particular skill set. I train people that have zero tech background. I've trained over 100 people, and most of them, I would say 80% of them, they came without knowing the technology at first. But right now, most of them, they are into the technology. Most of them, I can't even remember that at some point in their life, they did not even know how to do some certain thing, because right now they've learned that particular skill set and they can, complete the tasks when they have to deal with stuff around that skill set. Now we have skill application, right? Forget the fact that I'm using tech. You see tasks like coding. I know most people will say it might be something else in your own job role, but I'm just trying to talk around my own job role. So sometimes you see skill enable us to execute tasks. It can be coding, it can be negotiating. You have a deal, you're negotiating. You want to fix something, maybe you're a phone repairer, you're trying to fix, that's your skill set. And then you can also lead a workshop. Now, this is the definition for skill. Now, let's look at character. Character is the moral and ethical core that guides a person's decision and behavior. Now, we are looking at the core values that you're bringing when we're talking about character. Character is about who you are, not what you can do. And it's this distinguishing it from skill. So it is who you are, that's what your character is, and it is not what you can do, right? Character acts as an unseen compass to guide action when no one is watching. Just like I said, you might have to, close from work. You might have to just, leave the office. You're correct at that point in time. But when empathy comes in, nobody's actually looking at you. And then you're just there taking the job, doing it, because you know that, okay, if you have to help right now, then you have to help. So we have the key components of character. Now we have integrity, we have resilience, we have humility. Now, when we are looking at all of this, when we're talking about character, we're talking about integrity. You're honest. You could see someone that is very good at what he's doing. He's very good at his skill set. He's probably a good marketer. And then guess what? You hire him because he's very good at what he does. Now, when it's time for negotiation, he's adding extra markup that even the company is now aware of, doing extra deals behind, the company. He's skilled. He knows how to do it. He knows how to do the negotiation. But then there's no trust. There's no integrity. There's no honesty within this person. Now, that's where character is lacking. Now, sometimes all of this might go well, but then if it backfires, it can come in such a way that the impact will affect the company. And at that moment, the skill set is not there to save him. So that's exactly one of the core values when we're talking about characters. You see integrity coming in. We are talking about resilience through adversity. You're able to recover, fire back. We have humility and growth. Now, when we are also looking at our workplace, there are sometimes that you go through stuffs that you're not meant to go through, and sometimes there are some reactions that should come from it, but then you just choose to overlook. You even have people, I've seen people where they are learning a new skill. I know most people will say, oh, they have to pay you for what you do and all of that. You don't have to do free job. But at a point in my life, I had to get a job that they were not paying me up to what I was earning, but I was doing times 3 of what everybody that was earning higher than me was, doing. And at that point, it was not because I could not, just say go. But at that point, I know that I needed it, right? I had to be humble to get what I want. I needed to learn. I didn't really care about the money at that point in time because I was also looking at growing my skill set. So for me to, go below, take all those, whatsoever they are giving me, if they decide to owe me my salary, I was just still showing up. It's some aspect of humility and also looking at growth. There are some people, I've seen some people, they are still learning the skill set, and you tell them, just take this internship position. They'll be like, no, I can't take that. I'm looking for something like very big and all of that. And I'm like, you're still coming up. Just use this to learn. But then, people have choices. So, but then when we're looking at character, we're also looking at humility, we're looking at growth, and this humility is also in our workspace. So we are also looking at the next slide where we have character matter more than skills.
Sorry, I
I've
just want to
defined.
interject you there, Solomon. Yeah, sorry, so that we can have a lot of time for other speakers to speak. So before you actually continue, I think you made mention of empathy, and which I think that's one of the core things. I think even in interview at times, people really wanted to ask you some interview questions. They just want to see how you demonstrate, because if one's lack this thing called empathy, and let's say peradventure this person has now been employed. And then as time goes on, maybe like as time goes on, you now see that this person does not have this empathy. And it's actually, these are things that actually kill the business at times, especially in a world, especially like in like especially like in the the other side where we are, like some users, once they have issue with their, let's say they have issue and they can't get their job done, the way i mean the way they do at times, that they are not really happy about it, and it's like giving them a lot of, these are things that will not even give them a lot of, will not give them rest. So in such a way, like if you have let's say you have like an engineer who does not have this empathy, so how are you now going to balance that with his skills? So I don't know how you're going to balance that, that is something that somebody says is a very big skill. So how are you going to balance that in an organization? Somebody who, that this guy is very skillful, but this empathy, it doesn't, because you can read the feelings from some people when they are, when especially when you are facing users face to face, you can see it from their face, from their feelings, that they're actually not happy because of they cannot get their job done because of this particular issue. So if you have an engineer who does not have this empathy, so as a manager, so what are you going to do? So that question is to you, Mr. Jerry.
So in terms of character, right? Towards the end of my slide, there's something I would be talking about, which is what we are going to key takeaway. I could call someone now, and when I call, like I could pick someone and I tell the person, you want to learn this skill set. If the person is really interested, I could coach the person and train the person on the skill set. But when it comes to someone being honest, someone having empathy, someone having integrity, someone being reliable, it is something that they have to build. Like they have to take time, they have to reflect on it. You can advise people, right? But it is your advice. It is up to them to, take the advice. You can tell people, oh, this person is not feeling real good. And you were on the call with the person and you could see that the person is actually angry because maybe your code spoiled something and you're not supposed to act that way. You could tell people that, and when the person is probably going to face similar issue in future, you might not be there and you can't really control how the person will react to it. So when it comes to character, it is something that people need to, sit down. They need to actually reflect on themselves. And character still falls back to people taking corrections. I tell people I'm doing this presentation, not because I'm talking about it, doesn't mean I have like the best character. I ticked everything. But one thing I always tell people about myself is when I have someone talking to me, I actually sit and reflect. Even sometimes at work, I go and say, okay, sorry, this I made a mistake at this point.
I want to add on to I want to add on to what Solomon is saying. You also have to be consistent, right? So when you're talking about being reliable, these are some of the traits, in your character. You want to be reliable, you want to take initiative, you want to be pleasant, and people want to work with you, but you have to be consistent, right? So again, we've all talked about, and I love that Solomon opened up. He said your skills going to get you in the door. The character is what's going to keep you there, right? And so that means you have to be really consistent with your character. It's genuine. It's not something that you learn. That's just who you are, and it just naturally you do those things, and people want to continue to work with you, and you're going to have that longevity, and maybe consider for other positions within the company because they can teach you the skills for that job, for that role. So definitely keep that in mind, just being consistent with your character and your personality. And the gentleman that's from the HR department, he could share with you, sometimes people just say that, is she the right fit? Or is he the right fit? And they're looking at your personality and your character about, is this person the right fit with our team, right? And so I'm definitely want to hear from the HR. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but the HR department, that a lot of times it's not always about the skill. It's exactly the culture fit. If that personality is for that culture or for that department at that given time, because it could change over time.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Teresa. I love what Jerry said. Yeah. There's something he said. He said, character is not what I can teach you. I can teach you the
That's right.
skills. So character, I can't really teach you. It's not something I can. So it's something you have to build up. Something you have to build, and I think it's better you build up that before you, because they say first expression lasts longer. So it's better you build that before you get yourself into the company, because when the skill gets you into that company, when the skill gets you into that company, is the character that will sustain you if peradventure you are going to. I've seen people. I've seen people that have lasted in the company for like 10 years. Things that it's not because maybe probably they don't have other like opportunities, but it's just because of these same character things, because maybe probably the manager there is nice to them, and the culture of the organization is okay for them and things like that. So thank you very much, Solomon, for that.
I'll just quickly just add one thing. My mentor told me years ago, pick on processes, not people, because you go in, you start complaining about a person, and he'll say, can't talk about the character, but we can talk about the process or how they are impacting the project or the skills or whatever, but you can't pick on their character. You can pick on the process, but not the character.
Yeah, true. All right. Okay. So before we continue, just because of our time, because I know some people have other time schedule. So I think I have a question, and this question will go to 𝗢𝗃𝗏. 𝗢𝗃𝗏 is the head of HR in a financial institution. So you know what that simply means when somebody is an head of an HR. So I have this question for you, 𝗢𝗃𝗏. So how do you balance hiring for skills versus hiring for integrity or attitude as a HR? So how do you balance, hiring for skills versus hiring for integrity or attitude? So the
All
floor
right,
is.
thank you, Stephen, and hello everyone once again. It's good to be speaking on this panel. If you'll allow me to say that, I feel like I'm one of the minority on the panel. Everybody here seems to be skill-based, but let's even dissect and dimension this. When you're talking about character, right? In Nigeria, we say character is who you are when nobody's looking, right? The implication of that is that when you're being watched, you're able to construct the behavior that you want people to visualize. But when no one is watching you, right, you bring out your true self, right? And so character is who you are when no one is watching. But if you look at the question of skill, and this is an age-long controversy, should I hire for aptitude or should I hire for attitude? Where aptitude speaks to the knowledge, speaks to the skills that I have, speaks to my abilities, right? Or should I hire because someone is trainable? And Stephen, you've asked a very valid question. And let me not just use integrity alone. Let me still stay within the ambits of what we're discussing, which is character. The truth of the matter is that when you talk about skills, you're talking about the expertise of someone, right? And every company, every organization needs to bring in people who are considered as experts. But again, at what cost are you going to bring in an expert who has bad character? So let's say you are someone you're a customer-facing agent in an organization, right? You have to bring in someone. Oh, sorry, let me change that example. I want to relate it to everyone that's here. So I want to speak more to engineering and IT. And let's assume I bring in someone who's a fantastic software developer, someone who can code, but he has bad communication skills, right? And every single time he codes well, he gives you the output you require. But guess what? When he's speaking to colleagues or when he's speaking to team members, he's very condescending in his tone. He makes them feel like, why did they choose this career path? The truth of the matter is, very soon you're going to lose a lot of talents. And you're losing talents not because they don't want to stay and learn the expertise or the skill. You're losing them because you have someone who is an expert, but who has very bad communication skills. That in itself is character. And in trying to find a balance, I'll answer this question by saying you must be able to identify between the hard skills and the soft skills. And what do I mean by the hard skills? The hard skills are those things that you're very knowledgeable about, you're very competent on, the things that give you the certification, right? The things that people see and they say, oh, you're qualified because you've written an exam, and then they see you and they say, oh, you've gotten certified in this. You have the hard skill. But then there's a balance between hard skills and soft skills. Soft skills now refer to the things that are intangible, the things that we can't measure. Soft skills are like personal attributes that someone has. And when I talk about soft skills, I'm talking about your interpersonal skills. And so the balance is finding someone who has the right hard skills, in essence, someone who has the right expertise, and someone, that same person is also able to show and bring to the table that he has soft skills. And let me just use an example. When you talk about soft skills, leadership is a soft skill, right? Leadership is a soft skill. And if you track back to the example I used, if you have someone who is an expert in a particular field but does not know how to lead, if you put him in a leadership position within an organization, he's going to wreck that organization, right? So you need to think deeply about how to find someone who has both the hard skills and who has the soft skills. Someone who has integrity. Because when you have integrity, it's not that when you have integrity, it means that your yes is your yes and your no is your no, right? When you're honest, it means that people can take your word for it, right? And so you must have that balance between the hard skills. You must strike the balance between someone who has the hard skills, for instance, in IT, someone who can code, right? And when the person has the soft skills, e.g. integrity, you're asking the person, has this software gone through a QA analysis? Have you done testing on it? And because he's not pressed for time, he doesn't need to, tell a fib and say, oh no, I have done it. Meanwhile, he hasn't done it, because there are things that are at stake when he says something that's not true. So in finding the balance, you must identify what the hard skills are, identify what the soft skills are, and come to a middle point. You must find a way to make them merge. I think for me, that's how you can create that premise in an organization where your character is important, but you're not also letting go of the skills. Because truth be told, like Jerry said, you can bring someone in through the door because he has the skills, but guess what? The only way he's going to stay in the organization is because he's displaying the needed character that our organization needs to thrive and succeed. Stephen, I think that is my take on your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kingsley. That's a really good answer. I love that word. You need to balance it. So there must be a balance, just like what Jerry said. So there must be a balance, so you don't lose out of someone who is skillful and then take, because it's good. Like I said, somebody said, okay, I can train you. Yes, you can train, but if you look at it at times too, in training someone, there's a time frame, especially when an organization, like I can remember when my there was a time I was employed, and then at the interview they said, okay, we have backlogs of tickets and we need somebody to really come in and then get this sorted and then this. So in such a way like that, in such things like that, they've already told me that they have backlogs of tickets. So which means that they are short of staff, technical person. So in that regard, I don't think maybe the manager at that moment might not even be looking at my character. He wants the skills at that moment because of the backlogs of tickets they already have, just for me to come in. So in that regard, if you're employing somebody who has character but the skill is not yet there, you also need to look at the time frame you're going to train this person to really understand, to really catch up with whatever you want him to get out of that. So I think, balance everything is very, very important. And I thank you for that. And over to you, Precious. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Solomon, for the contribution in character and skills. Thank you, Kingsley, also for your contribution. So what I'm about to ask is, for someone who is listening to us right now and is probably guilty of what we are talking about concerning character and skills, what do you have to tell the person on developing his or her character in a more positive way?
Yeah, so I think that question goes to Dan. Yeah.
Yeah. Though I was trying to ask Kingsley the question because he said something.
Okay, Kingsley. Okay, sorry.
So thank you very much, Precious. Let me start from where Teresa stopped initially when she made her contribution. Your character needs to stay consistent, right? But for your character to stay consistent, organizations have come up with models, initiatives through which people get feedback. For instance, when you do a performance appraisal, you get feedback on your skill and your character. So a performance appraisal tells you as an individual from the viewpoint and perspective of your supervisor what you're doing well in terms of skill and expertise, but it also tells you what you're doing well in terms of character. So let me flip that. It means that a performance appraisal or a performance discussion tells you your defects in skill and where the organization needs to train you and build your competency. And it also tells you where you have character flaws, character defects, and how you can create a self-improvement plan. Notice I've said two things. When it comes to skill, the company and the organization owes it to you to build you in that regard. The bulk of that responsibility lies with the employer. When it comes to character, right, the bulk of that responsibility lies with you as the individual, right? The company can provide support, but you must first of all have the self-awareness to recognize that you have some things in your character that need to be improved upon. So if it's communication and they say, for instance, that you're always speaking in a condescending tone, people perceive, for instance, that you're shouting on them, and then your response is, oh, no, I'm not shouting on them. It's just the tone of my voice. Then it means you've not come to that level of self-awareness where there needs to be an improvement, right? So if someone says you have some character issues that you need to deal with, the first thing you need to do is take a step back, reflect. This character that has just been complained about, is it something that I actually need to work on? You know, sometimes you may be doing some things that you're not even cognizant and aware that you're doing them. It's most times a third party that flags it for you, that says, hey, wait there, there's something going on here. But you think you're doing the best thing in the world, right? And so that's one thing you need to know in answering your question. There must be self-awareness. And self-awareness means you come to the realization that you need to change, right? You reflect. And then the second thing you need to do is self-improvement. Self-improvement means you're taking specific measured steps to make sure that you are addressing the issues that have been raised around your character. And then the third thing is you must get feedback again, right? I make a joke sometimes. And what's the joke I make? I say to people that if someone tells you are proud and your response is that you are not proud, then it means that you are actually proud. Because the first thing you should do is to take a step back and assess, okay, why does he think I'm proud, right? Sometimes it's okay for you to be proud, by the way, right? But you must have that self-reflection and self-awareness. I think that if you do these three things, first, you take a step back, you reflect, right? You come up with the fact and you are aware that there are things in your character that needs to be built up. You come up with the fact that you need to improve those things, and then you get feedback. I think that those things gradually will build someone's character and improve them. Thank you, Precious. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, Kingsley, thank you. Thank you for the feedback. So over to you, Dan.
Yeah,
What
okay.
will
Can you just go? Let's go to Bill for now. Yeah. So
okay, Bill.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you. And I want to before we get too far away from it, somebody in our comments had asked a question. If there, thank you. Whoever did that, thank you. If my boss recognizes
I saw
that I
that
have
question,
a strong
right?
character and begins to exploit it as such by assigning unfair responsibilities or taking advantage of my integrity, how should I respond or what should I do? Which brings to, for me, sort of the other side of this that we haven't talked about, and that is organizational character. I mean, it is each individual has their own character and they are who they are. But sometimes, and we all, I think, probably have experienced this, you may have a very successful company and you think, I want to work there, and you work really hard and you get a job there and you realize it's a horrible organization to work for. They don't care about their people. They do everything they can, abuse their people, exploit them to try and be more successful. And I think this question addresses that exactly. I said, you can be the most moral and characterful person, but if you work for a company that doesn't appreciate or recognize or encourages that, they just want to exploit you, what do we do? And I think that's an issue. And for me, I've been in some of these companies. I worked, if I can give a quick personal example, I worked for a company that gave a lot of lip service, if you know what I'm saying. They said, oh, this is great. We're going to hire a new manager and we want them to meet with everybody on the team. And then we're going to get feedback from everybody, what they think about them. And after we all met with this person, we told the managers and the owner of the company, this guy's not going to fit on our team. We don't like him. We don't think he's going to work well. They hired him anyway. And everybody who worked under him was miserable. And eventually the owner of the company had to step in, and within a year, they let this guy go because he was just damaging the rest of the company. So,
morale.
you can be the best person, but if you work for a bad organization, that's bad too.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's where the culture of an organization, which actually really matters a lot. Yeah, like from this question, I think I can really understand from what this person is saying. We've seen some organization where some managers are just interested about let the work get done, want the work to be done. And like I used to tell people, I said, yeah, it's good for the work to be done. What, for example, somebody is sick in the organization and he couldn't maybe like this sickness took a lot of time to get to recover. So I've seen some organization where they will come and tell you that, oh, sorry, we don't think we can actually wait for you to get recover. So we'll just I know they'll they'll before you say, they will just want to terminate that person contract and say because they need to move ahead, and then they want to employ someone else. So, and this is somebody who has labored a lot for such organization. But just so, so I think it's good we also look at the organizational culture. Maybe that would be like a different topic. Would you come and talk about like company culture in an organization, which is quite very, very important. So thank you for that, Bill. Thank you for that particular answer. So I really want to also hear from Teresa from that question, because I think this question is quite very, very important. I don't know why I'm just going back to that. So what is your take on that, Teresa?
Well, I want to address the question that's on the screen. When do you start working on your character, and how much time do you have to spend on it? Working on your character, you're not taught working on character, right? Character, you're going to be, reliable naturally. Like I used the word earlier, is genuine, right? So you're not building or developing character. It's who you are. Naturally, I'm a team player. Naturally, I'm reliable. Naturally, I want to take initiative. Those things that you don't really teach that. And it's not like saying, hey, I'm going to spend, a year on building my character. It should come naturally. Does anybody else have a response to that? I'd be curious what other people think, but that's what my thoughts are. Is I didn't sit down and think about, I want to take more initiative. It came to me naturally. Anybody else have something to add to that?
So for me, what I can add to that is, just like you said, there's no time frame, and it is something you have to keep doing. So you could probably tell yourself like, hey, I want to, even when we're talking about skill sets, let me just say, probably I want to learn about 𝗦𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗏. Even while you think you've known much about 𝗦𝗶𝗶𝗏, Microsoft, they're giving you new updates. You wake up and they'll say, oh, this has changed. This has changed. That means you're still learning. You're still improving your skill set. And when it comes to character, Bill mentioned organization, right? It means that you could probably think, oh, I know how to communicate. I know how to do this. And then you go to a new organization and they start telling you, these are our core values. These are our mission. This is this. And you're working with team members. They're giving you feedback. But me, I think instead of looking at a time frame, just try to make yourself that type of person that is willing to reflect, take feedbacks from people. And when you take feedback, try to also think of how you can also work on yourself, like in terms of improving on whatsoever you're getting as a feedback. If someone say, oh, you shout when you're probably talking with the team, or you're looking less at other team members, then you should start asking yourself, how do I do, or what do I do to make it better? Sometimes you can even go ask the person giving you the feedback, what do you think? How do you think I can do to make you feel better when we are having a conversation? You could even go, Teresa just dropped a book. You could probably also read books. There are some books that would actually also tell you stuff that you need to start practicing and stuff like that. But the truth is, you don't want to say, oh, I've learned how to communicate, so I don't have issue with communication and I'm done with communication. You would still need to learn more depending on the situation or the environment you find yourself. So it's just like an ongoing process. You just need to be consistent with it.
But I still want to say that you don't teach or learn how to take initiative, right? Like, I believe that's naturally that, you see something broken, I'm automatically going to help and fix it, right? Like I don't think you're taught to say, oh, here's an opportunity for me to take initiative here. So some of the characters, some of those traits, it's not teachable. It's natural. I think. I'm just,
I feel like, I feel like who you surround yourself with also can help you grow. I mean, when I think of my own case, my own career, I've been blessed. I've had a lot of people when I was starting out who helped me, who mentored me, and not just skills, but, character building and things like that. You gain experience. You learn from the people around you. When I look at this group of us sitting here, you know, and I know or have met everybody for the most part, except for Precious and Kingsley. I've met all of you. We've talked, and I know everybody in here. We're all here and we're together because we have, in my opinion, I think we all have strong characters, and we are looking to help others. I mean, I know that all of the help and all of the mentorship and things that I was given coming up, I look back and I'm like, I want to help those coming up behind me. I want to help people and do whatever I can. And I may not have had that thought if there wasn't somebody there before me helping me. You know what I'm saying? So I think the people you surround yourself with also influence you and can also help you build that kind of character that, you know, is a person that you can look up to, that you can, you know, want to be with and spend time with, and can be an asset to any company.
And it doesn't happen overnight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
And it's
All
a
right. All right. So okay,
Thank
you want to say
Bill,
something?
Yeah. And I also think is about being intentional on improving your character in your workplace. When you have it in mind that this is where your challenge is when it comes to your character or the way you communicate with people around you in your workspace, and you wish to improve, you just have to be intentional and as well as learning your skills. Okay, so we will take the next question in the comment section if you don't mind, Stephen.
Yeah, that's fine.
Babajide says, what does one do in the situation whereby a mentor is reluctant to teach a new employee because they feel someone could take their job or do the job better than they do it?
Right.
Don't know. That Dan, are you good right
Dan,
now?
yeah, Dan, can you please answer? Yeah, so I think we should Dan.
Yeah, I often say it's not what you know, it's who you know. So sometimes the benefit of teaching others is, you know, those people then know you as that expert or that person that they can rely on. I think today there's less likelihood that the only thing that's going to happen is somebody pulling something out of my head and me losing a job over that, versus maybe as that mentor or that person that's teaching others, maybe I move up in an organization because they see value in the fact that I'm helping other people. It could go either way, right? But, you know, a lot of people have that fear with AI. You know, what about my job security when things can be automated with artificial intelligence? Well, you can either get on board and learn those skills, or you can decide, you know what, I'm going to try to protect my, you know, my individual kingdom or my individual, you know, expertise at this company or in this position. I would say that's one thing that, you know, follows through with character, right? Are you helping others, or are you somebody that discourages helping others or teaching others?
I want to give an example. Way back when a young lady was in a meeting, said in front of the crowd, she said, I don't share my knowledge because it's job security. And she was very good at her role. But when her leader left, all her, you know, somebody supporting her and sharing her, giving her exposure about what she does, left with him. And so, you know, if they don't know what you do, you know, you may not be, you know, may not stick around, right? So when they have to make a decision, so sharing your knowledge, people knows she's the go-to person. She's the go-to person. And so don't ever be afraid of sharing your knowledge with others, because people will look at you as the expert or the go-to person, versus feeling that, hey, I'm not going to share it because it's job security. Because if people don't know what you can do, you may not have a job, or, you know, have a job. So keep that in mind.
Let me also add to that. Yeah. So, as much as you share, you learn more. Because as much as you share the knowledge, you learn more and you become better. That's what I really want to add. Because the more you share, the more you learn, and the better you become. Sometimes we are afraid that as much as we are teaching people, they will get better than us. But no way. The more you teach, the better you become. So that's what I really also want to add.
If I can also add just this, just
Yep.
one thing I can add. I think we've all spoken around the perspective of you being the mentor, right? But if we flip that, if you find yourself in a situation where you're with a mentor who is unwilling to share, what I'd like to say, right, would be to lead with kindness. I mean, to show kindness really. Kindness can unlock a lot of doors that are locked, and how does that really typically work in a work environment? As simple as appreciating their efforts, appreciating this mentor for what they know, for what they're doing. And that can go a long way to sort of soften their heart and, create that soft space or soft landing for you when engaging with them. Then finally, I would also say that, you can have an honest conversation with them and be as clear as you can be with respect to what you're really aiming to gain from them. And don't go into such meetings with a blank slate. Going with preparation, going with a list of things you've done as your own efforts, and where they can come in sort of support you. So mentors who are generally busy, they're oftentimes laid back from wanting to give you all their time. They believe, you should come with something and you should be able to meet halfway. So just want to put that out there, in combination to what others have also said regarding this question. Thank you.
So can I add to that in terms of mentoring? So when it comes to mentoring, there's something I've noticed over time is when it comes to sharing knowledge, you're actually putting yourself in position to learn more. If I choose to come and tell you something right now, I would need to also verify that what I'm saying, the message I'm passing is correct. And in the process of me verifying it, most time I end up learning more. I could just do stuff myself and I go, just verify, go. But when it comes to training someone, you would want to verify the information over and over. And over the years, one thing I've noticed is if you train people, sometimes it's just like casting your bread or whatsoever in the waters and it will come back to you. Now, the reason I say to come back to you, there are some people that they are very smart, they are very intelligent, but they don't have that direction. Now, when you give them the direction that they need, they will go beyond you and then they would lead you. So I've had situations where I'm telling someone, this is how you do stuff, this is how you do stuff. And within the next few years, that person is actually telling me, this is how you do this, this is how you do this. Now, if I did not create paths for that person to see what is ahead, right? What exactly is going to happen? I would not also see ahead, because at the point where that person was now coming back to show me this is this, there'll be nobody there, or I'll probably be looking for someone else that is not willing to share their knowledge with me as well. So it is actually something that when it comes to knowledge sharing, it is something that nobody's actually taking your job. Sometimes it just creates rooms for you to learn more.
Thank you for that, Jeremiah. Thank you very much. And I think, in addition to what 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗀 said earlier on, I think it's quite very, very important, especially when you are going to a meeting, especially like if you have like your team's meeting. It depends on what kind of meeting. It's always good to go in a mind of have something jot down, maybe like. It's not that maybe they don't know what you are doing, but have it jot down, okay, this is what you do. And also, like some leaders find it very important that when they are speaking in a meeting, especially if it's a physical meeting, you are taking notes, just at least there are new things that will be said in that meeting. Just at least take a note and pen, and then just pen down one or two things. And maybe if it's something you are not even clear about, you can easily approach your manager and then talk to him. Okay, this is and that. So I think that's very important. So before we continue, I just want to ask Fred this particular question, because as an instructional skill certificate provider, which for those that don't know, the instructional skill certificate provider is for those who want to become an MCT, Microsoft certified trainer, which I actually did with Fred, his organization, and also as an MVP and also as an MCT. How do you disciple or mentor others in character development? How do you disciple or mentor others in character development? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephen, for the question. I'm sure the question is quite loaded. I'll try and do justice to it. So when it comes to the space in terms of instructional skills and how to really mentor someone within such a space, and in terms of character, it's all about what I would simply put as guidelines. The point is that a lot of people really have the skills. All they need is a direction and who to really hold their hand to what to do. So for me, in the space of instructional skills, in the space of community building, what I tell people is that in the tech space, it's very important that you avail yourself to learn, because every now and then in that space, things are changing. And as much as you build up your skills, it's very important that you build connections. At least on this platform, I know that I've met Benga, I've met Dan, I've met Bill, I've met Solomon, and I'm sure Steven too is through the instructional skills. So it's all about connection. If not about connection, I'm not sure I'll be on this platform. So as much as you build and you learn, connection and networking is very important, because that will give you the extra mile or give you the extra edge. And it all comes about character. If, in quotes, you are down to earth, you're able to relate to people, then yes, you get people to really come to you. You're approachable. I'm sure if I've met Wenger and not approached Wenger, I'm not sure I'll be able to even mention his name on this platform. But it's because you connect, we learn, we want to improve each other. That is the whole idea. That is the drive for me. And I would just like to juxtapose that with what Teresa said, that normally when it comes to character, it's innate. It's the people you surround yourself with. It's your community, how you grew up. Because for character, as Stephen said, that there are things, what I think the HR resource person said, that is the stuff which you do when no one is really looking at you. So if you don't have that good character, you don't have that resources to really learn, the drive to learn, to help people, to make things better, then as much as you might have the skills, you will be limited, because it's the character which will really build up your skill and push you out there. Even if you want to relate it to so from West Africa, we follow mostly soccer, football, what the Europeans will call, or the US people call soccer. You see that there are players who are really good, they have the skills, but they are not able to go far because of character. And I don't want to mention some of the players' names here, but they are good players on the field, and they are good, but they are not able to maybe win the Ballon d'Or because they don't have the character to really push them out there. So character is the one thing which really puts you out there and really give you the edge over your colleague. And character doesn't really happen once. You can't just get up one day and say, my character have changed, I want to do this. You need to be conscious about it. You need to do it over time. You need to even get someone to really even monitor you and say, no, this is how we do it. You need someone to guide you, and you need to be conscious and put in an effort into it. It cannot change just by waking up one day and say, fine, my character has changed. I used to do this, now I'm not going to do it anymore. It will take some time for you to really move from one state of a character to the other. Thank you.
I want to add on to what you just said. As you was talking, I start to write it down. It made me start to think, you should ask yourself, what type of leader do I want to be? Right? What type of people would I want to work with me? That's what you want to be. Right? So think about what type of leader you want to be, what type of people that you want to work with. I don't want to say work for you, work with. That's what you want. That's who you want to be. So stop and think about that a little bit and then go from there. I know that's kind of loaded, but just stop and think about, if you had a company, this is my business, what type of leader do I want to be, and what type of people that I want to work with? That's who you want to be.
Thank you very much. Seems that most of the speakers are just like really saying what is in my mind, like the next question I'm about to ask. Just like what Teresa just said now, and that was my next question to Frank. and luckily you just brought that question. So I think Fred, thank you very much for that submission. And I think it's quite very, very important. It just like what you said. You said you can't just wake up in the morning and say, oh, my character has changed. Yes, it is true. We are not doubting that the character has changed, but it will take time for people to really trust you back again. It takes time for people to to believe what you're saying, because just like I don't know if I can get that picture. I don't know if anybody can get that picture. I think there was a picture somebody posted on LinkedIn talking about somebody who locked the whole account out. He locked out the whole admin. I think I saw it right on. I think I saved it somewhere, but I don't know where I saved it on my system. Maybe I will look for it and then we can display it. So it's quite very, very important. Character is still the way. It's very, very important. We are not trying to push the skills aside, the talent. We are not trying to push that aside, but the character is quite very, very important. Thank you very much for that. And next to Frank. Yeah, Frank has been an amazing man. This person, in fact, if there's one thing I can say has really helped me in this in my career for the past, like, I think you started AI show for like 2022 or 2023 thereabouts. So
yep, about 2.5 years now.
Perfect. So I think that has really shaped. In fact, I can tell you categorically that I've shut down some other engagement just because I want to be on that show. Not because I want to speak, not because I want to showcase any skills, but because I really want to learn. I want to see what others are doing. I also want to learn so I can also speak. So thank you very much, Frank, for that particular show. It has helped me a lot. And also thank Jerry for introducing me to that show. So my question for you is that leadership style in an organization, leadership style. Now, how can you balance leadership style to shape someone's character? How do you balance to shape someone's character?
Yeah, I would kind of, even we'd say if I was the manager over a lot of other people, I would just treat them as equal, that I'm not just over all them. I would kind of foster engagement and, treat people equally with empathy and stuff like that, which is one of the great soft skills. And I think Solomon just was talking about that earlier. Having empathy is a great soft skill as well, And there's a question on the screen there that came up earlier. Why does judgment come before assessment? Well, if you're working for a company and they do something like that, I would say just leave. If that's what they do, they're not really, fostering you as as a human person. They just want to get stuff done, Any thoughts on that? I'm kind of working here in the background, taking all the questions that are coming in as well. So.
Yeah.
So I think, Frank, you actually answered the question. And I think there was a question someone asked. We spoke about it, but I don't think there was an answer, because the person asks, how should I respond, or what should I do? I don't know if you can remember the question about.
Okay, yeah, I think I can remember that question. Yeah.
Yes, he was talking about, working in an organization where they give you extra responsibility because of your character and all of that. So we spoke about it, but there was a second part to that question. The person asked, what should I do? or what can I do? I think that was, so I think if we can also answer that question, I don't know if anybody wants to answer that question, because the person is trying to know what was my next step. I'm nice, I have integrity, I'm honest, but because I'm honest, I have empathy. I'm working somewhere where they see, oh, this guy, he's very nice. Don't worry, everybody can go home. Give him all the workload. He's the guy that has the character and the empathy. Let him do more work. And you, because you have empathy, you say, oh, I was listening to the show. They say you can stay extra. So I'm just going to stay extra. And then you're working, just so you prove that you have character. So the question is, when you find yourself in that situation, he's asking, what should he do? So I don't know if people can give him an answer. I have my own answer, but if anybody wants to.
Well, I agree with what Frank had said earlier with this last question about the judgment before assessment. If you find yourself in a bad situation like that, and I know it's not always easy to just leave your situation, leave your job. We rely on work to live, unfortunately. But you need to. It comes down to either I'm going to let them exploit me like this, or I need to change my situation. I mean, that's really the options you have, because your ability as one person to maybe change that is probably limited, because if they're doing that to you, they probably do that organizationally as well. So, your chances of changing that are slim. So, it's a really bad situation. And I mean, I don't think there's an easy answer to it. I mean, it's easy to say, well, yeah, okay, you just got to leave. But then you're like, well, how do I pay my bills? How do I survive? It's a tough one. I mean, I think you either have to suck it up and deal with that, or try to get out of the situation.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a lot of changing the organization.
Or I know I've done this once, but you're taking a risk that I sat down and addressed it with the leader. Like, what's the issue? So you have that option as well. Like Bill said, you can either leave, deal with it, or it's still risky for you to just say, hey, let's have a conversation around it. Right. So at that time in my career, I was comfortable with doing that, but maybe 5 or 10 years before that, I don't know if I would have been. But so like you said, there's no solid answer.
It's a horrible situation to be in.
Yeah.
So there's something I wanted to say. I saw a question there. So for me, I always tell people sometimes speaking out is not a problem. It's just how you pass your message. And that's where communication still comes in. Because if you have workload and you see is stressing you, there are ways you can actually communicate and see why. Because probably somebody might feel maybe you enjoy working. You never can tell. So the person will feel like, oh, let me give this guy what he enjoys doing. So take more work. And probably you don't know the person is seeing it from another angle. So you have to have that conversation. So speaking out is actually very important. Like have that communication. So if you have that communication and you see that, okay, at this point, it is not what I can, they are not seeing it like they know I don't like it right now, but then they are still pushing it my way. I don't know.
Never do it when you're angry.
Right.
wait till you're calm. So, but that's a good point, because you can go and say, here's my workload, right? And all of them are top priority. What is it that you want me to have done first? Right. So like, I can't get everything done, by this deadline. So what is it that you want me to focus on first? Right. And don't be afraid to say, hey, can we have weekly meetings or bi-weekly meetings to kind of talk about my workload? Right. And again, you don't know the individual, if they're going to look at that as a great thing that you're doing that so to manage the workload, or they're looking at you in a sense of saying, he can't handle it. You can't control what other people think. right? But you can at least show that, hey, I want to get all this done. I want to be successful, you know, for this project. But let's get there together, right?
Right.
Let's get there together.
So Greg has it. I have her up on the screen there. Has a good comment. He says, "Learn to say no nicely to
nicely,
reduce
yeah.
overload."
Nicely.
So
Yes.
the second part of that question where I asked was, if you speak out and probably you're saying no nicely and it is not working, there's something we also need to look out. Now, the second part where I'm coming from is, can we actually be the reason why someone will compromise their character? Now, if I am that person that I have empathy, I'm doing a lot of work, I'm doing all of that, and you're pushing the workload on me. So what if I now say, oh, because I'm this guy that is honest and this thing, I have integrity, I have all of that. We don't really know the other side of that person, how much they can, they can stretch. So what if that person, because of how you're treating the person, is not trying to say, okay, I think this empathy stuff is no longer my thing. Being honest is no longer my thing. At this point, I'm just going to break down. Once you give me, I'm not going to do it. So sometimes I'm coming from another aspect where we ourselves, when we are trying to, push workloads as maybe a leader in an organization, are we trying to actually weaken the character of someone within the organization? Now, after looking at that other aspect, I will also tell that person, right? After you've, have that conversation, you see, they understand and all of that. Now, it is actually a very hard decision. One of the most difficult decisions sometimes is actually leaving an organization when you don't have another place. That's
for most people, your mental health reasons.
Yes, but sometimes I tell people, you might choose to take that risk, and the risk is, I think my health is more important than my job. I might just be working and I'm gathering all the money, saying, oh, because if I leave, I'm not going to get, another job, or I'm not going to get money. At the end of the day, you might get the money, and what you would damage, you can't recover it with money anymore. So most times, having that communication, looking at the environment, seeing the situation, and then telling yourself, okay, I would quietly step away. Like when you're quietly stepping away, you still have that relationship, you still create that character, and then you say goodbye. Most times that can actually resolve the issue, but then
it's their loss. Their loss.
Yeah, of course, their loss. Of course, that is always
yeah.
So Stephen, you can go.
All right. Thank you very much.
Because it's not always you. I was going to say, it's not always the individual, right? So sometimes it is the organization or that leader or whatever. So don't always feel like it is you is the problem, right?
Yeah.
So,
it could be the process, like you said earlier. It could be the process, that organization.
Right.
Yeah.
The best.
And I think
the best man. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go for it. Yeah.
I said I was very fortunate in one of my previous work situations that to work for, in my entire life, the best manager I ever worked with. And from the very first, when she became my manager, she came to me and said, how do you want me to manage you? What do you need from me so that you can succeed?
Wow.
And that's great. Like, like the skies opened up. I had never worked for anybody that approached me that way. And it was career changing. I mean, she was brilliant. And I think some of the best work I ever did was under her. And, I always think of that. And I always try to, if I'm in a situation where I'm managing somebody, I try to emulate her. What do you, how can I help you? Not what can you do for me? How can I help you succeed?
Be a better person. Yeah. Cool.
Ron Hornack, similar situation, Bill. Ron Hornack used to say to me is, from how he pulls me into that project, he gave me ownership by asking the question, what do you think about Like he already know that he wants you to have this project done and whatever. But the way he pull you in to have you own it and you walk away saying, I'm going to give my 110% on this project, he will ask, you know, what do you think about? And then he would go into what his needs are. Right. And so again, that's how you pull that leader, pull them in and say, hey, I kind of own it. I can make this my own, but I'm delivering the end product to him and on time. Right. So, you know, we're just talking about the leadership styles of helping building character is give them that room, because you're showing that you trust them. Right. They want to feel trusted. Right.
And I think for me, that is what I would describe as, sorry to chip that in. I think what you've said there is, I think I'll describe as, I would say character by influence, right? So you can be influenced positively by good leadership into, you don't want to fuck up. You don't want to, you know, mess up yourself. You literally want to be the best of yourself and not let them down because they're throwing all the weight behind you. And that's something I think leadership also needs to sort of emulate and imbibe. To help him to really model the great character that they are looking for in their employees or direct reports.
Because leaders talk to one another. You know, when you're in the organization and you got that good character and you got the skill behind the scenes and closed doors, you don't know. You know, I learned this along the way that they're talking about you. Right. So give them something to talk about in you know, that good character, the skills and being reliable. Give them something to talk about because they are talking.
Yeah, sure. True. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. And I have this question for Kingsley. So as an HR person, I think you will be in a better position to also answer this question, and then if any other person has any other submission, we can just chip in into it. Now, how can organization build a culture that rewards integrity? Because I know from the point of view that HRs, so what they do is that the HRs are like, and they are the foreman in every organization. They represent let me use the word, maybe like the backbone of that organization. Well, when there's issue with managers and with people they are leading, you know, they boils down, everything still boils down to HR, and then the HR take the final decision or things like that. So how can organization build a culture that rewards integrity? Over to you, Kingsley.
Thank you, Stephen. I think that first of all, before the organization rewards a culture that fosters integrity, the organization must first and foremost have as part of its culture integrity itself. And you know, the thing about organizational culture, and I think it was Dan that talked about organizational culture, is that it's what people see in an organization that they're going to run with. It's what they see in your induction and orientation programs that they're going to adopt as values, right? And so if they see that you have a culture of timeliness, integrity, open and honest communication, they're going to imbibe those values, right? And so when they imbibe the values, then you now need to reward them for imbibing the values. So in rewarding a culture that fosters integrity, I think that first of all, people like recognition. So the first premise of reward is recognizing that the person has done something well and has done something right, right? And when you recognize that, then you can go to the incentives. So over here in West Africa, we like praises, we like accolades. And that for us is the first level of recognition. If someone is honest and the manager comes and says to the general open floor, Kingsley has been a fantastic staff. We've gotten fantastic recommendations from customers just because he's done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There will be people in that audience that will want to emulate Kingsley's behavior because they know it's going to get them some level of accolades and recognition in the future just by behaving the same way. So in essence, you need to reward that culture of integrity by praising openly. When you praise people openly, right, it instills the kind of culture that you want to go around the organization. Obviously, if you want to reward integrity, let me talk about Africa. In West Africa, for instance, there may be some pecuniary benefits that someone can get. And so I'll give you a typical example. I work in a financial institution, and we've had people, we've read in papers, security guards who see people forget their briefcases, and when they open those briefcases, they see valuables in those briefcases. And rather than running off with the briefcase, they return it back to the owner. And guess what? That security guard was given what you could call a professional staff job. That's one form of reward and recognition for integrity, because he could have decided to run away with the briefcase, by the way, and whatever valuable was inside the briefcase will finish one day. But you see, the recognition and the reward that he got is something that benefits him into the lifetime. So my take on this is, first, you need to recognize people when they display the culture of integrity that you want. You need to also, in recognizing them, praise them openly for it, because that's when, again, you're instilling the values that you want people to live. And then, if you want to, you could add other pecuniary benefits, monetary or otherwise. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you very much, Kingsley. Thank you very much. So I think I actually asked that question, like I said earlier, because as an HR person, because I've seen a whole lot. I know, like, my place of work, at times we usually make this crack this joke, or when maybe probably the team leader said it, is there, okay, I'll speak to the HR. Okay, like, it's just like a joke, maybe probably he's just cracking jokes. Somebody's cracking jokes. Okay, I will report to the HR. I'll report to the HR. So I begin to look at this. Oh, so you mean so everything has to do with like HR, because they are the one that actually take even like most of the final decision, even though at least they still take maybe like some question from the manager or leaders before they take their own final decision. And yeah, I thank you for that submission. So is there anyone that has any submission? Yeah.
Dan, I'm going to encourage you to say a few words. A couple of things that Dan does very well. He's on LinkedIn, and one of the things, he gives credit, to others. He does it naturally. He praises people, 100%. Naturally on platforms. So don't think about giving. It's not about just praise and applause at work. You can also do this within your community, even like on social media platforms. And like I said, Dan does it naturally. So you have anything to say, Dan?
You say it's natural, but it's a habit that I formed. So I found it extremely,
that sounds about right.
I found it extremely difficult to ask for recommendation on LinkedIn. And what I realized was, if I write recommendations, that didn't necessarily come naturally, but it was much easier for me to write somebody like Bill or you or Kingsley that we've heard from, Binga that we've heard from. Everybody on this, I could turn around and write a recommendation for, and then it's in my court, right? I'm doing the, here's where we met, here's what I got out of that relationship. And that led to being more comfortable praising others and, and tagging people in posts. Out of the amount of people I've tagged, I've had a handful that have said, please don't tag me in posts. And I've apologized, and, I don't tag them in posts anymore. But for the most part, that praise is something that, comes, I would say, out of a habit, out of, intentionally doing it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for everyone who has contributed in today's discussion and answering the questions from the comment section. So I'm going to throw this question to everyone in general, or probably go direct the question to Mr. Frank. How does one personally stay grounded and accountable in their character journey?
I suppose be consistent. Like if you're a mentor and you're helping people, more people will, be confident coming to you and, to believe what you're saying will help them get them over the line, and you kind of build up a reputation, of being a good mentor, good character over time, so yeah, I think that is.
Okay. What do you have to say in a situation where the leaders are not teachable?
That the leaders are what?
Are not teachable.
Where the leaders are, sorry, I didn't get that as well.
Is
So
it
where the
leaders are not approachable? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
They're not teachable. They're not willing to learn.
Yeah, exactly. No willingness to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. If the leaders are not willing to learn, what can you do? If you call them out, it's
It's a difficult one.
It is again, that's a difficult situation.
Normally, I worked with a team before, and you'd always kind of get somebody inside the team that it's kind of who is the go-to person to approach the manager, or I used to be that person on my team one time, and when the manager used to see me walking up, he used to say, "Oh, what's up? They're sending Frank up." So yeah, it's just kind of spot somebody in your team that is kind of good at approaching people, and don't be kind of firing out, giving out to them. Just point it out to them and say, "Look, the guys are not happy with this. Look, we need to change something." So don't fire off the handle. Just, I think, deal with it, on a level.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for answering that question. Yeah. Teresa, do you have anything to contribute towards my question?
I was going to share an experience that I had. I had a guy that liked to micromanage me, and which was impacting my morale. It was impacting the way I worked. And I actually, like Bill has shared earlier, they had a leader to say, "How can I help you?" I went to my leader and said, "This is how I can help you. You got to trust me. Trust that if I run into a problem, I'm going to come to you and ask for guidance. I'm not saying not to come and check on the status, but I don't need you to micromanage me every step of the way, because it really was impacting the work that I was delivering." So, feel comfortable to share what your character is and what you can provide to the department, because they may not know, they may not be aware of your work ethics and your work habits, that it's okay to kind of, get each other on the same page. Like, you can trust me, and come to me, give me feedback, and hopefully your door is open for me to give you feedback. But you have to be comfortable. Again, I didn't do that early on in my career, but over time I was comfortable with my character and who I am, and the work that I can deliver. So again, you won't be able to do that overnight, but I have done that several times in my career, saying, "This is how I can help you."
Okay, thank you. Do anyone else have anything to say towards what I just asked, or can we do this to give a clear difference between character and skill?
I don't know if I can chip this in maybe before we do that. There's been a recurring question that I'm seeing in the chat. Just maybe I can address that in just a few seconds. So I think this is coming from one of the questions. It's saying, can you give some pointers to building a character of consistency? To be honest, I think there's no one straightforward answer to that. But it's all about all of the things we've been saying here, today. But if there's any probably that I can add to that, I would say, I think genuinely as a person, you need to look forward to feedback. You need to ask for feedback. And situations would sort of give you the opportunity to always ask for feedback. I mean, when I say situation, it could be a project, it could be a task, it could be around your approach to doing a task or delivering a project. Always have that closure in your mind that, before I can take this off, I need to seek for feedback. And that feedback could come from your colleagues, it could come from your line manager. Genuinely seek for those feedback and ask them, well, I went about this project or this task, or this situation happened, this was what I did. Would there be a way you would do that differently, or how would you do this differently? Pretty much. That sort of gives them the opportunity to provide some feedback as to how they would approach it. And then maybe finally, I can also have this, sometimes we are doing certain good things, we are improving in our character, but we're not saying anything about it. So at that level, at that leadership level, there's some visibility of what you've done because you're not essentially saying anything to anyone. This is what you've done, maybe as simple as how you responded to an email in a much simpler, clearer tone, but nobody knew about this. So these are things you can bring to your one-to-one meetings, with your manager to say, hey, I did this, by the way, I just thought to hear from you. What do you think about this? This was how I approached this situation. And that could sort of give you motivation that will help you to do even better and be consistent. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I just have a word to add, which is we need to be just intentional. We should be intentional about our character if you really want to improve. So far as you're intentional, at least that will put in there. That will let you at least put in the effort to really do it. Just let us be intentional. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
I am looking, seeing all the comments and everything on your YouTube channel. And so I just wanted to see from everybody that's watching, name your top character quality. One or two words. What is your top quality that you have right now that you're proud of? I'm just curious. I'm actually just watching the feed.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that, Teresa. Yeah, I think it's very, very important. I think everything everyone has said, I think Teresa made mention of that. Feedback. It's very, very important. Even as a tech person, I think I've gotten a feedback which because my manager will always encourage us to ask for feedback from whoever you support. Just send them an email. Okay, it's okay. Because at times it's tricky at times because it's okay. You say request for feedback and tell them to send the feedback to my email. And one of the IT operation manager was like, what if this person does not give you good feedback? So I think your character is really what really matters. So if you have a good character, you shouldn't be scared of feedbacks. And I believe most organizations have that's in place where when you close a ticket, you receive an email for feedback, whoever supports you in that regard. So you shouldn't be really afraid as long as you display the quality of empathy and some other things there. So feedback is quite very, 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 very important. And I remember I think it was last year. I don't know. I think I did something for someone. In fact, I don't even know the person till today. And I stepped out from my desk, and when I came back, suddenly I just met a flask. This flask where you put water bottle and it's very portable and expensive one. And I said, and I was asking, because it's an open space, so I was asking my colleague. I said, who kept this on my desk? What is this? He said, no, it's for you. I said, well, who kept this on my desk? He said, no, it's for you. I said, okay, who is the person that brought it? Until today, they never told me who actually kept that on my desk, and which it is somebody who have supported, who have assisted, and was very happy for that. And I think because of, at times you have to be very careful so that you don't also start playing some kind of politics. So they will not disclose that person to you so that you don't start taking that person topmost priority and then ignore that people and things like that. So this today, I don't know who is that particular person that gave me that, but I cherish that gift and things like that. And this boils down to our characters, our character, what we are talking about here, characters and the empathy, things like that. So which is quite very, very important. So because of our time and if we continue, I think we'll spend the whole day on this platform because we have a lot of things to say. This is not something that it is not just a one-day thing. It's something that I think we need to be revisiting regularly and then talking about it so that so it can register in the subconscious of people that your character is also important as your skills too, irrespective of your field. Whether it's not, like I said when we started, this is not just only for tech, it's for everyone, for every field, because whether you like it or not, we are all rendering a service. Even if you are a business person, even if you are into business, you have your own business, so your character is also very, very important. So I really just want to once again appreciate everyone on this call. Teresa, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Thank you for that word you said to me. That when I read that comment, I was just laughing. I was like, wow. So you even noticed that. Thank you very much for that. And Bill, thank you very much. One of these days, like I said, maybe by next year, I'll come on one of these summits, either maybe MCC summit or MVP. We'll definitely see in the US. Yeah, I would definitely take time to come. And Kingsley, wow, thank you very much for the fact that you are the only HR person and you're able to still make us understand one or two things. It's really like you don't feel intimidated. Like, oh, these are technical guys and I'm not the only HR. Yeah, thank you very much for all the questions and all the answers you have given. And then Benga, wow, thank you also very much. Terry, thank you for your contribution. Thank you for all you said. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. And then my co-host, Precious. So I believe now you understand what I mean? So when I spoke to her, she was like, "Oh, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this." I was like, no, I'm scared." I said, "No, you don't have to be scared because it's just like what Teresa said. I'm somebody who used to be shy. So, but now, yes. So this is it. So thank you for moderating this event with me. Thank you very much, Precious. And Dan, I really appreciate. There's something Dan also did for me. And I think I still asked him for it yesterday. I used to pay for, I don't know, am I permitted to say it here, Dan? You know what I want to say?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, all right, thank you. Okay, so like I used to pay for subscription for Microsoft, the family subscription and things like entry. So and then it's a huge amount, but because of the benefit, I know what it does for me. I prefer to go for that subscription. And then one day when I call and Dan just told me that, oh, I have this. I know he gave me a discount where I can get a discount rate of that, and I got, in fact, I got this. I was like surprised. I was say, wow. If I tell you the amount, you'll be like, wow, you saved me a whole lot of cost. Yeah. Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much. It encourages me a lot. Like, he has program he does, when he was on TikTok, anytime I'm coming back from work, I'm always joining his TikTok for, he was Dan is a sweet person, he's a nice person to be with. And then once again, Solomon Jerry, like I said, Solomon is fat. You have his precious space in my heart because of what you have been doing. As we are speaking now, today we also have like a training with Solomon is actually the facilitator of that training. This is people he has been training for 8 months. If somebody can be doing something for good to train people for 8 months and you're not collecting a damn, you can see that really tells a lot. That is tell you who and actually tell you his personality, his character is not even just to train. He will still give you the resources you need for free. I've never seen that. I told him, I said, there's a training I paid for. I paid thousands of pounds for it. At the end of the day, I didn't say, I can't say this is what I gained for that training, but Solomon is somebody who will give you a platform. He will still encourage, he will still take his time, encourage people on the call, stay longer time. And when he finishes, he still jump up on the call. He has his own personal job to do. He still jump up. So thank you very much, Solomon. I really appreciate what you do in the community, and thank you for taking out your time. And then Frank, thank you very much once again. I know by 7 o'clock today we still have another the AI show stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you. And if you don't know, he actually gave us this platform to use. So I'm actually the stream you are using. Frank actually set that up. Thank you very much for that. I really thank you for what you've been doing. And then Fred, yeah, thank you very much. I really thank you. I really want to I want to appreciate you for being the instructional skill certificate provider for me becoming an MCT. So I know that was for the 3 days intensive program.
Yeah, sure.
I remember that day I have to on my camera, it was so intensive. But I can tell you that I gained a lot, and that has led to my MCT today. I really thank you for that. Thank you for what you do in the
Welcome.
community. Thank you very much. So that's for that. So before we go, we have just like 2 minutes to exit this call now. So before we go, I just want each of the speakers to just give one take home that you want everybody to take home from this particular event. And I will start with Teresa in just like 2 seconds. Thank you.
I'm going to say one word: consistency. Just be
Thank you.
consistent.
Wow. Thank you very much. Bill, what's it? You're muted.
Surround yourself with the people you want to be like.
Wow. Wow. That's key. Thank you very much. Kingsley, what's it?
Skill will take you there, but character will make you relevant every time.
Wow. Yes. Yeah, 100% right. Thank you very much for that. Benga, what's it?
I would say be extremely reflective and self-aware, and always ask yourself, what can you do better?
I love that. Self-aware. Thank you.
Look
Thank you
yourself
very
in the
much.
mirror.
Yeah. That's
The man
key.
in the
Thank
mirror.
you. Yeah. Dan, over to you.
I would say be the embodiment of what you want to see in the world. So if you want to, celebrate others, celebrate others. If you want to, change something, big, think about how to do that.
Wow. Thank you very much. Mr. Jerry, what's you? Solomon Jerry.
Yeah, I have 2 things to say. The first thing I have to say is skill is the sword, but character is your hand, and is your hand that will decide how you choose to use it. So just know that the sword is the skill set, but your hand is the character, and that's what will decide how you use it. Secondly, I remember people that were fixing radios, television. Right now, the skill became obsolete. They don't have that skill set. That skill set can become obsolete because of how technology is advancing. But your character would always remain with you, and then you can always increase in how you learn and improve your character. So always keep that in mind.
Thank you very much. And immediately you said that, I think this thing just came to my mind that you can take years to build a house, but it takes a second to pull down that house. Yeah. So people can take years, months to build a house, but it takes a second to just pull down that house. So your skills, you can take years to build that skills, but that character is what that will sustain that skill. You might just have a particular job that will take you around the world, that will take you places in your career. But if the character is not there, it will take you down, and that might even affect you, because whether you like it or not, they will request for reference when you go for other places. So thank you very much for that. Frank, over to you.
Frank said he had to drop.
Oh yeah, I think he's okay. Fred, yeah, over to you.
Yes, I'll just use one word. I'll say we need to be kind, be conscious, and also be intentional about what we do.
Wow, cool. Thank you very much. Frank, I don't know if you're there now.
I think Frank dropped off the call. He said he
What's
was
yours,
dropping.
Precious?
Okay, yeah. I actually want to say my take home for today: be open to learning, be open to trying new things. I was really scared coming up here today, but I'm really honored to be part of it. Great discussion. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you, everyone, once again. Thank you. I hope when next I call up on you for something like this, you open up the door for me. Thank you very much. Thank you for honoring this invitation. At least I know it's short notice, and I can remember, Bill, Teresa, Dan, their time zone is quite different. So, for them to come up this call is a sacrifice. Thank you very much. I really appreciate. Thank you very much for that. And everyone watching us, thank you for taking out your time, for spending out your time to listening to this conversation. I do hope you have learned one or two things, and I do hope you have understand. We are not trying to push aside the skills and then put the character for there, but we're just saying, try to strike a balance in it, and then you will definitely be at the top of your career. Thank you very much once again. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate, and bye-bye for now.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great job.
Bye.
Great job,
Yeah.
Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Steve.
Bye. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, I think Frank needs to end the live. Stephen.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he needs to end live.
Let me call him.
Yeah.
Stephen, you will start another topic. Oh, Frank is not in this call. You will start another presentation. Okay. You're not going to leave people. Good. Do you know if 𝗢𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗀 has like admin? Can you log into the StreamYard and see who is the admin there? I think they were. It was.
Let me see. I don't know, where do I check for who is the admin? I think I'm logging to my own stream.
No, the event. I think you can log. Wait, let me see if I can log in. I used to be an admin there. Let me just go and check. But I know it's only 2 people you can have. Let me. StreamYard. I'm trying to log in there now.
Hi, Stephen. I guess I should go right now.
Yeah. Thank you for your time today. You did
thank
amazing.
you. Thank you. You did amazing job.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. This all happened because of your encouragement. Those words you said after the classes, they do a lot.
Yeah, thank you for the kind word. Yeah. I think I have access to just dance, and StreamYard. Log into StreamYard and just click you see the left side. The one I can access is Dan. That's D2.
I'm not sure. I don't even have the login for this one.
No, just log in with your normal StreamYard account.
Okay.
Look at the left corner. You will see like a drop down. See if you would see.
Left side. No, I'm not sure. I can't see anything. This is settings.
Hi, Frank. Can you hear me? I'm fine. We're done. We